Papi Pan, El Capitan, aka Rolly. I'm a rapper. I was born in Cuba, live in New Jersey, rep New York. Feel me?
Which part of like? So you said you were born in Cuba. Like, where were you raised?
I was raised well, I came from Cuba when I was 6 years old. So the beginning of my life was there. Then, I've lived in Jersey ever since.
Which part of Jersey?
I live in Richfield.
Richfield.
Yeah, now I was in North Bergen before that, which is like down the block.
So what kind of music do you do?
I make all types of music. I make rap music, reggaeton. I made house music, rock music, and I'm talking about like I'm a vocalist. Right? I write music, so I pretty much get on all these different beats and express myself on them. What else? I mean, I dabble in like a lot of genres. The only ones I haven't done yet are like country. Well, I did something a little country, but salsa, merengue, bachata, which is something I'm thinking about getting into in the future. That would be cool. Just have to learn how to structure it.
So who produces your music, or is it just you?
I have a few people that have produced for me. I'll say some names: Cito, RG, Invisible Will, Episode, throwing it back with Episode, Dre. I had a few people who've produced for me, but mainly now I just do a lot of work in my house. Get the practice in, do different songs, and then go to the studio here and there, and then lay out a solid track, something we make from scratch, beat, lyrics, everything. So.
How'd you get into music? Was it just like, was it something you always wanted to do when you were a kid, or?
When I first listened to Eminem, I was like, damn, this guy's the fucking man. So I was like, wow. I didn't even understand half the shit he was saying because I was too young. I was like 10, I think. I just knew like that was it, And I was like, damn, I want to try to do that. I started writing songs, rapping, got into that, left it for a little bit while, I was in high school. In college, I started coming back to it, dabbling. When I graduated college, I got a mic. Started, rapping pretty much every day. And I haven't stopped since. It's been 10 years.
Shit.
Yeah, I got 13 albums. They're all out on SoundCloud. I gave them all for free. You're welcome. I'm serious, you're welcome. Yes, that's a lot of work,
Right.
Although they might like not all be like hits, but just making one song is a lot of work, It's like, it takes time, effort, thought. So, yeah, I have a lot of songs, man. I have a lot of songs on my last 2 albums were 60 tracks each. It's a lot, but I didn't want to clip any. I made so much music in the last 2 years during the pandemic, everything, that I didn't want to I had a lot accumulated, so I had like 100 plus songs in English and then like 60 in Spanish. So I was like, damn, all right. So I dropped 60 in English and then 60 in Spanish. And those were my last two drops.
So when did you start performing? Like where did you start performing?
Performing?
Yeah.
I'm new to performing, honestly. Like, I was making music because I loved making music, and I just, you know, took it as a hobby, as a way to escape, you know. But I performed in Hoboken. I performed. I've done a lot of venues. It's just like not as often as I would like to. Like, should be performing every week. Should have, like, taking this more seriously, which is what I plan to start doing in the future, in the near future. This is what's, you know, what we're building up on right now. But yeah, I kind of suck at performing. I get nervous, you know. Last time I was here, I did a good job. I made sure to, because I spent all week practicing. It just goes back to that practice. You know, you learn the songs, you get more confident, more stage presence. You know, you're like there, bam, bam, bam. You hit everything, and people rock to it regardless, because you know they have to.
I tried doing an open mic over here and I fucking bombed like crazy, man. Like,
Really?
Yeah, it was bad. I kept repeating the words and I was like, I can't fucking do this. I'm sorry, guys. Like, and then I just bailed.
What was it? What was it? Comedy?
No, it was I was playing the ukulele.
Holy shit!
Yeah, it was.
Dude, I was actually playing. Like, I had a ukulele in my last video. That's funny. Do you know how to play it, or?
It's so I know Tyler. I mean, you play guitar. I actually play guitar in my band, my school band too. But I fucking sucked.
Okay.
Like that too. So
the ukulele is much easier.
Yeah, ukulele. I was like, this is small. This is easy. I can do this. And I bombed. I was like, no, fuck.
Man.
Yeah,
Man,
everybody was
it gets
cool, though.
intense. It gets intense
Yeah, man.
when you're like on stage, you know, and everybody's looking at you, and you're put on the spot and shit. Like, you could be good at it. You could be good at the ukulele, but like, let's say you're just not used to doing it in front of people.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I tried playing Blinding Lights by The Weeknd.
Oh,
and
no.
Yeah, it was a mistake, man. It was bad. It did not match. I don't think.
That's
I remember. It's funny how you talked about performing, because I mean, I feel like a lot of us, you know, we all had to try to perform as kids because our parents wanted to fucking see that shit. You know, for me, I had to do like church choir, and what was it? I was always telling people, yo, like, it's a good thing that there's other people singing, because if I was the only one singing, their ears would bleed. You know, so
Thanks.
yeah, like, it's fucking scary, man. Like, trying to do that shit on your own. You know.
Yeah, man. Honestly, I did chorus in high school, and like, they give you a little test, like a vocal test, before you get into the chorus class, just to determine whether you're gonna be a bass or a tenor or whatever. I don't know. That's what you probably. I don't know. Anyway, it's like a high one and a low one, right? So I sang whatever he gave me. He's like, oh, this is like, yeah, no, you're bass. He gave me, like, but you know, which to me, I was like, oh, all right, maybe I have the potential to like actually play my voice if I actually practice it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which I have been able to do in my songs. I do a lot of different voices. You know, I'll go from low to like a little higher pitch, and like try to balance it out throughout the verses, and you know, just dynamics and sound.
I actually I love those sounds the most, in my opinion. It's because, like, I'm a big, like, Kendrick Lamar fan.
Yeah.
You know, and like you said, you're a fan of Eminem. You know, they kind of have
similar
those,
styles.
yeah, exactly.
In their own way.
Yeah.
Because
And I think it's brilliant when musicians or artists kind of do that, because, like, you know, one of the fucking hardest parts about art is everything's already been fucking created. How are you gonna create originality? You know?
yeah, that's why I don't listen to Lil Wayne anymore.
Yeah.
I just want to quit rapping. You know what I mean? Like, every time I listen to him, I'm like, damn. Or like, even Eminem, like the old school, like, or you know, or Drake, or like these. I don't really listen to too much. Like, I do listen to it, but I don't listen to it consistently.
Right.
I would rather bump my own stuff and learn from it. But yeah, I mean, it gives me. Don't get me wrong. It doesn't like discourage me from doing it, but it gives me like, you know, I want to do better.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm like, damn, these guys are already like the shit, you know? It's tough to match.
It's competition, you know?
It's tough to match.
Yeah. Like, that's why I like journalism, because, like, all I have to do is write, honestly. It's fucking easy, you know? But I can only imagine what, you know, most musicians have to go through with their processes, you know? Like, you want to, like, what kind of process do you have when you're trying to make music, though?
So it's easy. I follow like basic, you know, structure. So you pick a beat. I actually made a little reel on this on how to make a song. So you pick a beat, you write the lyrics, you record it. 3 easy steps, right? Now, when it comes down to like producing and making the beats, that's when it gets more intense. Like you have to actually make a beat, then write it. You know what I mean? And that becomes more. But yeah, that's it. I pick a beat, I write to it, I record it, and then you know, if it's good, if it's really good, I'll mix it. You know, I think it has like, you know, real potential. And that's about it. What do I write about? I write about life in different perspectives. It's just not my perspective all the time. You know what I mean? Like I could write about, like I have a song called Heroin, and that song is about shooting dope and doing crazy shit. You know, I just shot some heroin in my vein. I'm not rocking all this heroin. And the concept behind the video would be like this girl shooting dope right before getting married. And that's when she's in a very wearing dress. So, see, shit like that, like, I just make scenarios up in my head, or I just make myself a different person sometimes.
So do you feel that when you create these songs from like different perspectives, that you may be appropriating the experience?
Oh, like making it cool?
No. So
or like backing it?
No. So appropriating, like you're taking it for or as your own when it's not, right? So then, like, how can you speak from the perspective of someone who hasn't really
done it,
right?
Oh, because it's easy. We learn. We learn all about it, you know? Yeah, like I've learned about heroin, I've learned about drugs, I've learned about the streets, you know, and I got interested in it because it's cool shit, you know?
Would you say that you're from the streets?
Am I from the streets? Absolutely not. I was raised in a family home. My mom and dad are still together. My sister's graduating from an Ivy League school, like this year. I'm from a very tight-knit family. I was never allowed to be on the streets like that. I tried sometimes, like I would be out and chill and shit, but like I didn't, like some people seek out the streets as a way to like escape and like find some sort of comfort and like something that they don't have, you know? But
what did you study in college?
Business, finance.
And you have your MBA?
I have a bachelor's degree, BS.
So why did you choose business?
Because medicine was gonna be way too difficult.
Are your parents doctors?
My dad's a surgeon.
De Cuba.
Legua. Tu sabe?
Yeah.
What does he think about the rapping?
The rapping, he loves it. He just, you know, he wants me to succeed. He just knows, you know, that it's a lot of competition. Like I said, it's hard. It's a hard field to make it as an artist, you know, and he knows that. And he wants me to progress in life. He wants me to do well in this, but he also wants me to pursue a career. And you know what I'm saying? Like, let me not even say nothing. But, you know, do everything that we need to do, you know, build a family, You
And
know,
how old are you?
I'm 32.
So where do you see yourself in 5 years? Like, you studied business, you're in music, you come from a very good family, you're not firstborn generation. So do you ever talk about like that experience of immigrating here and maybe the struggles from being Cuban? So like that's something that you could maybe write about. Like, have you ever written about that, like that struggle, and like that wouldn't be appropriating it because you've lived that and you've seen your parents. Like, for example, your dad, if he studied in the University of Havana, then he had to start from the bottom again in the United States. And like,
Absolutely.
growing up in that and seeing how your parents got to a level where they are now, does that inspire you to do more? Like, what direction do you see yourself going?
Yeah, definitely inspires me. It does. And I want to be as great as my family is. Like I want to do that, and to make it in music would be amazing. That's the goal. That's the dream. But yeah, I see myself progressing, growing as a person, being happy, loving life, seeking greatness.
Do you feel there's something preventing you from going to the next level?
Yeah. Gatekeepers of hip hop, if you guys are listening, let me in. You feel me? I got product to sell,
But that's another thing. I feel like hip hop in general can't really be appropriated because like there's so many different levels of hip hop. Was it Kanye West might not have been from the streets, but he was able to rap and produce his own music, and he always reiterated that. He said, I might not be from the streets, but I have my street smarts.
Right.
And like that gave him his own rights. And I feel like like everybody has their own type of hip hop too. It's always been originated from that root.
Right.
That like there is no fucking border or territory when it comes to rap. It's just like a reflection of your life.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Man, you know what? It's funny because I started this as a joke. So at first, when I started rapping, like I got to a point where I was just like, I'm gonna just say the most outlandish shit and just like make fun of what rap is actually like, and make it good, and then just go with it. And now I'm taking it more seriously, which is cool. But yeah, we gotta move forward.
Yeah, man. I mean, I understand that. Like, do you have any like ideas or projects that you want to like try pursuing? Because we literally just talked about like, you're a foodie too. Do you want to go somewhere with that avenue as well?
Like through food.
Yeah, like
I was just talking to my boy, about making a juice shop, starting a little juice shop or something, or a smoke shop like this. This is dope. This is some sort of business to have, and grow. But we got to figure out what it is. I think it's the music. The music is huge, and like I said, I got a lot of product. So, yeah, man.
Oh, good. I mean, that's another thing. I mean, I feel like even with a lot of product, you kind of have to figure out like what that avenue is, because I completely understand that. One of the ideas I want to do with like this magazine or like this digital print is gonna be like, all right, I'm gonna put not just articles to spotlight, artists, local artists, but I want to use a whole bunch of different ideas, So I mean, I completely understand that, man. Like, especially just because like you have the product,
and I have the ability to keep making it.
Yeah.
It's like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I get that.
A lot of, look, Ja Rule was great, right? For like what? How long?
Like
few years.
Yeah, a few.
Right. So he had a
At
few.
his
You know what I'm
peak.
saying? He had a couple good albums. You know, whatever. He's
I
still
think it was just,
touring.
like, Fire Island. No, was it Fire Island or I forgot which island he invested in. Stuff like
Oh,
that,
I'm
but-
not sure.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
Yeah,
he's
but
still.
that-
Well, my point is, he's still touring.
yeah.
Didn't he die?
Ja Rule.
No, I'm joking.
Oh, that was DMX.
Yeah. No, yeah.
They talk similar. You're right. Holla.
Yeah, it's confusing.
DMX actually lives in this town. Well, he used to live in this town.
In Teaneck.
Yeah, in Teaneck.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, he had a home here. He
You know, a lot of gangsters had homes in Teaneck.
yeah, it's crazy.
Biggie had a home in Teaneck.
Yeah.
And then that American gangster that Denzel Washington plays,
Yeah.
whatever his name was, had a home in Teaneck.
That's crazy.
Teaneck is like pretty,
Yeah, what's going on over here? Like,
Now I live here. No,
yeah, not you.
We're getting ready for the reign of Stephanie.
Gonna be Absalom's popping up everywhere. Like.
I hope so. From your lips to God's ears, or at least something. Something's gotta go.
Yeah.
Something's gotta give.
So yeah, I mean, you want to talk about like, I want to talk about mental health. I'm schizophrenic. I wasn't schizophrenic my entire life. I, started having auditory hallucinations at the age of like 20. And, which is like, hearing voices in your head, shit like that. And at first, I thought I could hear people's thoughts. So it was crazy, because I didn't know I was sick. But once the biggest part of mental illness and having something wrong is knowing that something's wrong, so that you can correct it and deal with it. You understand? So, like, I fought to the death about that. I was like, I ain't taking no fucking medicine. I don't need medicine. I just have an ability to, communicate with people telepathically, and I can hear people's thoughts. It just made sense to me. But, at the end of the day, I was able to realize that I was living in an altered reality mentally. You know what I mean? Like, I was really bugging out at one point. It got to the point where I couldn't control my mind. And I knew I was very, sick. And I went to a therapist. He prescribed me a few medicines. We tried different things. We finally got to one that worked. And now I feel great. I feel amazing. I've incorporated this into my rap. I made a song called God. You guys should stream it on SoundCloud. It's free. And it's deep, it goes into like, hearing voices and wanting to fucking kill yourself because you're so miserable in your own body because you can't control your mind. Imagine like having some sort of like music or people constantly talking to you all day long in your own head. It gets frustrating and it gets exhausting. So, real shit. Yeah.
Not that you would have to watch it, right? But I think it was very interesting. I saw a documentary, I believe, of Anderson Cooper, and he did a piece on schizophrenia. And essentially, he had to go 24 hours with essentially headphones in him, and there were voices constantly talking to him, and he had to function like in a normal capacity while having these low-key voices in his head.
Mm-hmm.
And then he speaks about it, and they go more in depth about schizophrenia, mental health, etc., etc. But that's so interesting about you because, when I hear that you speak about different things, right, like all these kind of ideas and stuff, do you feel like maybe that those experiences, like those voices and etc., informed some of the songs that you kind of that essentially you've appropriated, like those feelings, like the heroin song, right? Like, did you ever feel, or do you ever remember listening to a voice that essentially had that persona? Like, do these voices have personas?
Yeah, they're usually like it started off as people. Like I said, it started off very mild, me hearing people's thoughts around me, and then I left and I could still hear them. I was communicating with them in my mind, but it was like an altered. What it really comes down to it, is I was talking to myself, and I was just making these voices talk back. So it was like having, you know what I mean, like an alternate personality in your head, but it's another person's personality. In my case, it's kind of complex, not really, when it comes down to it. But yeah, they did the voices influenced the content of my music to an extent. You know, not necessarily that I was portraying who I was hearing, but I did portray other people. I do portray other people, you know, what their experiences and like close to me, you know.
It's so interesting to hear about all of this because it's more informing on your music, and it would be so interesting to hear more music that is directly correlated with these ideas. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like
Yeah. That's what my therapist tells me.
Yeah.
Make more of those songs, or that God song ends on a really bad note. He said you should make that song end on a nice note. You know?
So how does it end?
A voice telling me to kill myself.
And the song ends.
And the song.
Pretty much like Stan, like Eminem Stan, where
type shit. It's something
he ends up
like
killing himself.
Right. Well, I don't do it in the song. It's just so.
But it informs.
Yeah. So the basis of the song is me being in a mental asylum, having a dream that I'm a trap god, because that's what my music pretty much is about. I'm like this trap. You know what I mean? Like, and waking up and being in a mental institution, and then pretty much talking to a doctor and telling them I don't want to kill people anymore. And the voices are just telling me kill. And when I'm like, please just kill me, the voice tells me to kill myself. You know?
I think it would be really interesting, like I said, to hear more of that kind of music, because as an artist myself, when I've created art that has reflected an experience in the abstract form,
It makes it that much better.
right? There's no, like, to the average person, right, that looks at that painting, there's no meaning to it. But that meaning, even though there's no meaning, that meaning is still conveyed, and the person reads it, and then that's what creates the art. It's like when people look at a Basquiat and they say, oh, that's so easy. You know Basquiat, right?
Of course.
So they'll look at Basquiat and like, oh, that's so easy, a child could do it. And then there's been experiments where they're like, okay, here, recreate this. And when they recreate it, you can see that each stroke is not purposeful. Like, they don't know what they're doing. So even though they are to paint like a child or recreate a Basquiat, it just looks horrific. Because when Basquiat drew, his every stroke, every color, every decision was purposeful, right? I know I repeat that a lot, but that's
It had a meaning.
when you create art, everything that you do, like the stroke of the brush, whether it's smooth or fast,
when you sing a song,
whenever you sing a song,
how you say a word.
correct, everything
The tone.
has its meaning. And so that's why I'm saying, like, it would be, I've heard your music before, I've seen you perform, and there's so many things that are going through my mind right now that, you know, in a separate conversation I would love to have with you. But one thing I can say is, if I feel like I would be so much more connected to your music, and just really, like, drawn to it if I listened to things that were meaningful, like that had a more
message.
in-depth like a message, because whenever we listen to these greats, you said before, like you look at like Drake and all these people and you're like, oh shit, they made it, like what the fuck, when you look at their music, there's meaning behind it, and there's like this information that you're getting that, when you speak to them, it's part of their experience. And then when they make it big and then they've exhausted every way of saying the same message, then they start creating this generic shit that people just listen to because it's a brand now and it's a name.
Yeah, and it's catchy.
Right, and it's catchy, but obviously you're not there yet. So if you were
I have to get that message out.
Yeah, if you were able to create the message, like when you listen to Eminem, and I don't think this has ever been said, but he's not mentally ill. If anything, he has depression. I believe that's his illness. But when you listen to some of his songs, you would think that he was probably schizophrenic with all the different actions and conversations that are happening in his music. Now, can you imagine that from someone who is schizophrenic, and you are, brave enough to admit that and talk about that? It would just be. I'm sorry, I'm just mind blown. I just have so many things that are going through my mind right now.
Yeah, we'll definitely chop it up about it.
But yeah, I just, super interesting.
Yeah, I'm down to create. Yeah, for sure.
That, a lot of people keep that stuff because of the stigma. But, if we were more informed and we learned more about it, I think that there would be healthier ways to navigate through those things.
Yeah. One of them is, like I said, getting informed, knowing, accepting,
Right. Like, I'm sure you have all these different experiences, but to speak about, like, for example, being, immigrating from Cuba and those struggles. I know that, like, as a first-born generation Cuban, American, I did a collection of art on Cuba, right? But that perspective was from the perspective of someone who was not born there, that was born here. But I would listen to all these stories, and it almost felt like as if I had lived it because it was so prevalent.
Exactly.
And then when I went to Cuba and I saw it, it's like, oh wow. And then you come back and you're able to compare these apples to oranges.
That's funny. So my rap character was a blood at one point.
Okay.
Right. I used to be somebody, a rap character. It was Dong Long Schlong. It's funny, right? Because we were talking about that earlier.
Dude, my legal name is Dong Sung, so. Yeah,
Dong Sung?
That was my fucking nickname.
Yo, so yeah, and he was a blood. So in my head one day, this is a funny story because it kind of plays on that voices type situation. I said, I need backing from the blood gang. And I heard a voice say, who are you? Or some shit. And I was like, I'm Don Long Schlong. I represent brotherly love over oppression and destruction.
Sorry, I hiccuped.
So I thought that was resonating.
Yeah, me too, me too.
Are you a blood too?
Don Long Schlong. I would have loved that, honestly. I wish you said that.
No, but listen. This is real shit. So, I said that, and they said, okay, we'll take care of you. That night, I booked a studio session in Hoboken, right by Jersey City, and I did a song. I met one of the producers that I mentioned earlier episode, and at the end of the session, I had made a song about Suwooing with the crew, whatever. And at the end of the session, 2 blood members walk into the studio. It was bragging blood. I said, yo, I was looking for you guys. They're like, yeah, well, we're here. What's up? They were about to do a song. I was like, yo, you guys mind if I chill? Like, nah, not at all. I was like, you guys want to listen to what I just made? They fuck with it. We became friends. At the end, didn't work out. Still got love. But manifesting is real. I do believe in that shit, and that shit was just like so coincidental. Like, yeah, I made it happen, no doubt, but like just for them, that was weird. So yeah, I started hanging out with them because I wanted to have validity to my rap character. I needed to see what it was like hanging with the Blood Gang. I didn't kill nobody. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean?
You didn't initiate or anything like that.
I
but
didn't become a Blood. They asked me if I wanted to. I said no.
it sounds like an actor, right? Method acting, where
You go and engulf yourself in the...
right,
Right?
and you embody that.
Yeah, you embody that, exactly. So that's what I do with my music. And a lot of my music, don't take it literal. Don't take it literal because like especially a lot of my old stuff is real, like, it's real crazy. It's real crazy shit. And, like, you know, a lot of people would get offended, you know? But, did I think about taking it down? Yeah. Am I going to? Maybe. So while it's up, you should go check it out. And make your own decision. Feel me?